Hello, we'd like to welcome you for another program we've got going today. It is that time of year. A dusting of yellow pollen is covering everything. You step outside, the whole porch is covered, your car is covered. Oh my goodness, the other day I drove it down to the car wash. I stopped at the store, and by the time I had it back home again, my car was completely covered with pollen for a second time. And this is the time when our allergy season hits. And it's often more than just a runny nose for some people. They get itchy, watery eyes, trouble sleeping, pressure in your head, fatigue, and even that brain fog. Sometimes, no matter what you take, you're just managing the symptoms and not really getting ahead of the problem of the season. So, today, let's talk about why that happens and what your body does in order to respond a little bit better to this time of year. So, allergies. It's not a problem, it's a response. You see, your immune system is reacting to something that it believes is an invader. That's that pollen or that dust. So think about this. You've been in a house before that has an alarm system, and perhaps that alarm system is so sensitive that it goes off when somebody burns toast, right? Now, compare that to another house that has an immune system, an alarm system that's well calibrated and has good ventilation. And so our bodies can be the same way. You can have two people, they both walk outside, the same pollen, but yet one is miserable, one person's miserable, and the other person barely notices. What's happening here? Well, when that pollen enters into your nasal passages, tiny hair-like structures called cilia, they go to work. They're constantly moving, they're sweeping, they're clearing. Some of those particles, though, may linger and they aren't moved out. And so what happens if you have a particle that's found in a very sensitive area? Your body releases some histamine. That histamine causes inflammation. That inflammation, we now have swelling, and then we have mucus production going on. Now, what do we have here? The mucus, that's not an enemy. Actually, it's your body's way of trapping that invader, adding some weight to it so it can be moved out more efficiently. But if it's not moved out right away, then you get more mucus and more mucus. So, like a snowball, it started just a little thing and then it gets larger and larger and larger. And so now we've got that runny, stuffy nose. We got that sinus pressure. You got the watery eyes and the fatigue. Over time, what happens with this mucus? It first starts off, it's really thin, kind of like when you're starting to make pudding. You take the milk and you add the pudding mix, but what happens after like 4 or 5 minutes, right? That starts to thicken up. And then you put it in the fridge, and what happens? It gets really thick. And so that's what can happen to the mucus if we don't keep it moving in the body. So just remember, if you have allergies and you're suffering from them, your body's not broken. It's just trying to protect you. Your sinuses need to drain properly, and they need to drain constantly to keep things moving. And yes, we do find some draining out through the nose, but also the drainage happens right here behind your ears, coming down your neck, from behind your ears and down your neck. And you can imagine if you have a blockage here, then it's all going to back up into your sinuses and you're going to feel it all up through here. See, this is a fluid moving system. We have to keep the things moving and undo the blockages. And all of that depends on two things: good, healthy circulation and proper fluid flow. So when things are working well, the mucus continues moving, the allergens are cleared, and the body resets itself. But when the system slows down, even a little bit, then the fluid becomes stagnant. It begins to thicken, inflammation increases, and pressure builds. And then you're congested. Most solutions that you might have focus on drying things up. But your body doesn't just need to dry things up, it needs for things to move. And that's why circulation is so important. And not just large circulation, but circulation through the microcirculation. Your immune system, your healing, your ability to clear these allergens all depend on that microcirculation working to its maximum ability. The movement through the blood through those smallest little vessels of your body. And so when that circulation is working well, the waste products are carried away, inflammation can resolve more easily, fluids move effectively, and your body becomes more resilient. But when your circulation is compromised, well, then it has a harder time keeping up with it and things can get overwhelmed. I remember being in elementary school and oh, I had the worst allergies ever. Everybody else is out playing on the playground and I'm sitting on the side, just like blowing my nose, head congested, just a mess. And so what we find is that over time, I've been working on improving my circulation. And it's interesting, after a couple of years, I went to that drawer, where I had all of my over-the-counter medications, and I realized I hadn't used those things in years. Why? Because now we got the body moving, we got things going through, and so therefore we are not overwhelming any one system. So instead of thinking about stopping your symptoms, what if you support the body's ability to clear, to move, and to recover? Don't shut off the alarm, but instead help the system to reset and function the way it's designed to do. So what can you do in this season where there's a lot of pollen? Well, number one, we can limit your exposure. Plants, they follow certain patterns, certain times of the day when they let off their pollen. So pay attention to your body. I realized that I would start sneezing really bad every evening after 8 o'clock. So I began closing my windows before that, and it made a big difference. Number two, try to keep your environment clean. So using a damp cloth or a microfiber cloth to trap that pollen and dust so that it's not doesn't become airborne in your home, that can help. Number three, support an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. So if you have you're eating a lot of sugar or processed foods, that kind of makes your whole body inflamed and right on the edge, right? And so now you add one thing like an allergen, and you have the worst symptoms ever. So if you can have an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, that way your body's not going to be overwhelmed when it comes to pollen season. Number four, stay hydrated. So hydration keeps that mucus thin and moving, and that's exactly what your body needs. You might think, oh, I've got all this fluid, I don't want to drink more. No, we need to keep it thin and moving. And number five, using some kind of light, gentle massage can help to keep things moving, draining, and therefore keeping those pathways open. A lot of times they say it has to be so light, maybe even just the back of your hand, so you don't even push hard on that. So in closing, if you struggle with allergies or sinus pressure, it may not be just about what you're exposed to. It may be about how well your body can process and clean out what you're exposed to. Because the more efficiently your body can remove fluids, clear irritants, then the better your body is going to be. When those peak times come, when there's a lot of pollen out there, it's not going to overwhelm your system. See, health isn't about stopping your body's response, but it's about helping the body to work the way it's designed. And sometimes it's those smallest vessels, those micro vessels that make the biggest difference.